Hi, I'm Tony Nichols, and welcome to Chamber Chat. Welcome to Chamber Chat, a program put together by the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce to keep you informed on what's going on in your chamber and in your community. And if memory serves me correctly, Bill Turner, CEO of Lower Shore Enterprises, the first time you've been on Chamber Chat.
It is my first time, yeah.
Welcome to Chamber Chat.
Thank you very much.
I think you're a year and a half maybe into your role as CEO. Tell us how things are going.
Well, I think they're going well.
There you go.
Yeah, we're making some progress. We're being asked to make some changes, and our funding stream has changed quite a bit. And so it's been a really interesting year and a half for me.
Anytime you assume a new position, new job, certainly a role as a CEO, you walk in the door and there's that surprise. Or maybe a few surprises. Yeah. What were the surprises or surprise when you walked in the door at Lower Shore?
Well, when I first walked in, I thought, do they really need me here? Because it's an extremely well-run operation. Okay. Yeah. We do have a history of really great CEOs. Jack Heath was there before me. And Jack is president of the city council in Salisbury. Fabulous guy, did a great job at Lower Shore. And but I'd say the complexity of the organization. I knew about the Lower Shore Enterprises before going there, but and of course it's a nonprofit, but it's a pretty complex organization and really a business that it runs itself for the benefit of others.
I know if you've never been on the infamous tour and eaten the hot dogs,
right.
You really don't know. You guys have been around forever. Everyone, I'm sure, is familiar with the emblem, LSE.
Right.
You've won awards, contributed, given back to the community. But there's probably a few people out there that still don't know exactly what you guys do.
Sure.
Can you fill us in?
Well, we work primarily with adults with developmental disabilities.
Okay.
And we are technically a sheltered workshop, but our real goal is to find jobs, connect businesses with people looking for jobs who are developmentally disabled. We also have a division that's a career development center, and we work with people who maybe have physical disabilities or coming back from maybe a car accident, and we also work with those individuals to help them find jobs in the community. Okay. We also employ people in our facility over on Owens Branch Road.
All right, so very cool.
Yeah.
I know in the news, and I think I've heard you speak on it a couple of times, I've heard talks of massive changes in the disability community.
Right.
How's that impacting Lower Shore?
Well, the model that we were founded on 50 years ago, next year's our 50th anniversary of being in business, is changing how we're funded. The federal government and the state of Maryland provide funding and supports for us to allow us to help people in the community. And that's being changed. No more facilities-based employment. We are having to push people out into the community. Some of this is good. Some of it I have a lot of concerns about.
So let me cut you off there. So rather than being employed in the facility, they'll have to work for a partner organization or a customer, or they have to go off-site to work.
Right, they're looking for small groups of individuals working in what they would call, or what the community calls, integrated settings, work settings. So like you and I go into the community generally and work with whomever's on that job site. That's what they're asking us to do with people with developmental disabilities.
Oh, wow.
So, and those that can't find jobs will have to go out into the community and do other activities that may not be vocationally oriented.
All right, so I think one of the most powerful questions in the English language is why. Okay, from a guy on the outside looking in, that makes no sense at all to me.
I think there are a lot of people that agree with you. This is sort of an offshoot of the Americans with Disability Act. There have been some, let's say that there are some states that have not been handling things the way that they should.
Okay.
State of Maryland has always done well with how they treat individuals with disabilities. And the federal government has sued those states to, instead of automatically putting people in a facility-based employment, they'll have to go out into the community first. So some of it's being forced, and some of it is, this is the direction we're going in, and you need to get on board with this.
So in like many other cases, it's the actions of a few are affecting the masses.
Definitely. Lower Shore Enterprises is probably one of the exceptions to the rule.
I can see that.
Yeah, the wages that our individuals earn in our facility are 3 times the state average compared to other providers in the state. And we also have a much higher percentage of individuals that we assist already working in the community. So we're a little bit ahead of that curve, but it's the forced part of it is what's going to create some problems, I think, for a lot of individuals that come into our facility.
I think the minimum wage or the sub-minimum wage laws are also changing, which further impacts you guys.
That's right. We're a sheltered workshop, which permits us under federal guidelines to pay a sub-minimum wage for certain individuals based on their ability to perform certain tasks. And we're required to test individuals every 6 months and evaluate them. It gives us an opportunity to help them vocationally. Somebody might come into us, doesn't have a great hand-eye coordination, or maybe they have some focus issues, or difficulty sitting in one place for an extended period of time. So that sub-minimum wage allows us to work with them while they earn a paycheck, but also improve their skills so that maybe we can find them a job in the community. State of Maryland has done away with a sub-minimum wage effective October 1st, 2020. So there is a period of time to adjust, but I think I'd say 50% of our individuals, a little over 50%, earn at least minimum wage or more right now. So it's going to affect a much smaller population that we serve, but everybody in the community who receives a sub-minimum wage is going to affect adversely.
So the individuals that you work with, based on what you just said, about half will not see any change 2020.
That's right.
And about half sounds like we'll have a positive impact from that.
Well, positive and for some, but negative for others.
Okay.
It is sometimes a challenge to find jobs suitable for individuals that might have either medical or behavioral issues that struggle with that. So until we can find them, we're going to have to find a way to compensate them when they work in the community some way. My fear is they're probably going to end up being individuals that fall through the cracks and maybe just spend time in the community doing other activities that are not work-related.
I know you've had to have crunched the numbers already, or someone has had to have crunched the numbers already. What kind of impact is that going to be to Lower Shore and a parallel to the community?
Well, the people that are promoting the doing away with the sub-minimum wage think it's going to help compensation for individuals with disability. In our case, we have an annual wage base of just shy of $1 million to individuals with disabilities that we employ, or they're employed in the community that we serve. And our calculation is going to drop by probably 60%, their compensation.
Wow.
It's going to have that kind of effect on them. Instead of working extended periods of time, learning a particular task, they might only be performing that task for 3 or 4 hours a week instead of perhaps 20 hours a week. But I will say this, I think there are other providers in the state that are going to be, it's going to affect more adversely than us. We're already ahead of the curve on that issue.
Okay, so many people in your position that have sat in that chair on Chamber Chat. I've actually sat in that chair on Chamber Chat. This chair is much easier to sit in. Pull out your crystal ball. What's coming down the road for Lower Shore?
Well, we will continue to evolve. And we will become much more of a placement service in the community. And obviously you're familiar with that, but we will serve primarily those individuals. We will have to spin off, we probably have 8 different businesses and business models that we work with to find particular activities that individuals can do. And we'll have to spin those off into the community. Some of this will be positive, It's forcing us to think creatively,
Right.
you know, when you have to do things sometimes. And it also gives us the opportunity to tell people who maybe feel safe in our facility that they're going to lose that option, and they need to think more seriously about going out into the general community. You know, we're a safe, comfortable environment for many people. It's their community. Their friends are in similar situations to what they are.
Yeah.
And same thing with parents. Even though we have adults, the parents are still very actively involved in you know, caregiving and what's going on with those individuals. So I think there are a lot of concerns with that. Right now, we're still educating people with the changes, which is, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about them.
Absolutely.
And I think long term, that's going to continue to evolve. I think you're going to find that money, the funding goes with the individuals, and there might be some good things will happen. They might be able to manage their own resources themselves with some assistance, rather than perhaps going to a facility. So those things are good, I think. But at the same time, I do worry about some abusive situations that might arise when you have one-on-ones with, and there's money involved. I do worry about that a little bit, but we'll still be there. We'll still be providing those services as best we can, and hopefully we can find some jobs for all the individuals that we serve. So.
Well, the history of Lower Shore Enterprise would say that's 100% the case, and with the community that we have behind it, there's no doubt that, you know, we're going to have Lower Shore Enterprise in some form or fashion for a long, long time.
I hope so too.
Bill, thanks for joining us on Chamber Chat.
Thank you.
We'd like to give you the opportunity now to take a look at the upcoming events with the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome back to Chamber Chat right here on PAC 14. We have with us now no stranger to the program, Beth Ohlsson, Executive Director for the Salisbury Substance Abuse Community Center. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I'm just going to jump right into it. There's some exciting news coming around.
Yes.
I don't think it's fully out in the public yet, but it will be now.
Yes, it will be.
What is that?
We are changing our name. We are going to be henceforth known as the Recovery Resource Center. And we did that because we didn't like sharing an acronym with you.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yep.
But it was confusing to people, you know.
Yeah.
Salisbury Substance Abuse Community Center sounds like a treatment center, and we're not. That's not what we do.
Yeah.
So it clarifies what we do. We support people in recovery. We support the recovery community. And our particular way to do that is by offering 12-step fellowship support.
You know, I was in a luncheon that you were a speaker at here recently, and one of the things that I took away that, and I always knew, but just to hear you say it, complete anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone comes in from whatever walk of life, when they come in there, they can be safe. Not have to worry about any repercussions for anything, that they can be safe and help themselves.
Absolutely. And that's the gift of the 12-step programs. Anybody can come in, there's an open door policy, and there are no records kept. Mm-hmm. You know, when you come in, you don't hand your insurance card to anybody. You don't hand your ID to anybody. And you can go to a meeting and no one takes attendance, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And our position, you know, as the SAC Center, as the Recovery Resource Center, is once you come in, we don't know your last name.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I think everyone is aware of that. But when you're in the middle of a crisis, I think that's one of the things that you lose, and you're guarded, and you want to hold everything in and not reveal anything to anyone. So I think that's vital to get out.
It is vital, especially for the people who are afraid to admit they have a drinking problem or a drug problem.
It's hard enough to admit it to begin with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you're in a position, in a public position, or in a position where people respect your authority, or doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, all of those people, they're not exempt.
Right.
And if you want to come to a meeting in a baseball cap with your collar up and sit in the back, nobody's going to care.
That's the real me. That's not it.
Yeah, but nobody's going to care. No, you will be welcomed, but nobody's going to go, oh my God, I know you from so-and-so.
Right.
That's just not going to happen, and that's wonderful.
Do you really see 1,000 people a week?
Every week, no, but we average about 900 a week, between 800 and 1,000 every week.
That's just a startling figure. I know we talked about that last time you were on the show, but that's just a startling figure.
Every time I see Sheriff Lewis, he comes up to me and says, do you really see 1,000 people a week? It is. It's a mind-boggling number, and I can't say that's 1,000 people,
Right.
but we have 1,000 visits, or close to. And the actual total for last year, I think, was something like 48,000 people came through our door. We had 48,000 visits to the SAC Center last year because we do track that.
So to reiterate, the name change is not going to change anything other than the name. No services, no...
Well, what we hope to do is to expand the services to the community we serve.
Okay.
And we've already started doing that in small ways. One of the things we have started to do is we offer the naloxone training free once a quarter. And Brian Polk from the health department comes over on a Saturday afternoon and does the training right there. It's something we can do to expand our services and not conflict with meetings and not worry about breaking anonymity or any of that. But do something else to support the community besides just be a landlord. So we hope to do more of those kinds of things. We don't know what yet, but we have big ideas.
Well, here's a big idea for you.
Okay.
I took a picture of one of the slides that you were presenting at the luncheon that I was at. Let me read this. I want people in PAC 14 and Chamber Chat land to hear this. You don't get over an addiction by stopping using. You recover by creating a new life where it's easier not to use. If you don't create a new life, then all the factors that brought you to your addiction will catch up with you again. That's a pretty powerful statement.
It's a really good definition of recovery.
Isn't it?
It really is.
That was a powerful, I took a picture of it, and so I could share it because I knew we were going to be doing this.
It was right off Facebook. It's not original, but it's really true that recovery really is a lifestyle. Yeah. And we live in a drinking and drugging world. There's a whole lot of getting high going on. People like it.
Yeah.
And if it's not interfering, it's not a problem. For some of us, it interferes.
That's right. September is National Recovery Month. Do you guys have anything special planned for that month?
Absolutely.
Right.
We are going to have our second annual Lighting Up Recovery Breakfast. It will be at Dove Point on September 22nd. Doors open at 7 a.m.
That's the one where you got up early in the morning, wasn't it? Or early?
Yeah. Yeah, but I have it on good authority. There are other groups that do that, and we were sold out last year.
That's awesome. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to have John Schinhauser is going to be our keynote speaker, and we're really excited because he and his wife started a foundation in Richmond called the McShin Foundation, which is a recovery community support. And John wrote the book on the recovery coaching manual, and he travels the country teaching people how to be recovery coaches, and so we are absolutely thrilled that he's coming.
So I saved this last question for last because if I'd have started with something like this, that's all we would have talked about.
Okay.
What are you guys doing or seeing, or how are you trying to help overcome the heroin epidemic in Salisbury? That's what, so that look is why I asked it last.
Yeah, you couldn't ask me an easy question, could you? No.
That's not what we do here on Chamber Chat.
Thanks for sharing. We are supporting the COAT program by providing space for them. The COAT program is the Community Outreach Addictions Team.
Okay.
They are recovery coaches hired through the health department. And this is a cooperative between law enforcement and the health department for funding and personnel. And these people will be working with plainclothes policemen and supporting people in making that transition from that moment they say, I want help, until they actually get it, because there's always a time lag.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but
Right.
it's true, and it's generally over a weekend. You know, someone says on a Thursday or Friday night, I'm done, I can't do this anymore. And we say, oh, well, your appointment is next Wednesday at 4.
Right.
You know, what do you
Right.
do in the meantime? So this team of people is to help people make it through that transition. Health department's closed on the weekend. We're not. We're open 365 days a year.
Wow.
So the staff knows that, you know, should one of these coaches show up, there's a room available, and they can have it all day if they need it.
That's that period of time when someone comes to that realization and they first have that sit down and reveal or talk to someone. I think that's vital, no matter what it is, and certainly with an addiction like heroin. But that's a vital time period to. What do you do?
It's absolutely critical. We lose a lot of people right there, and it's tough. It's tough. I sit on several task forces that are trying to figure out what else we can do. You know, it's a big deal. It's bigger than all of us.
All right, before we go, give us the name change again.
It is the Recovery Resource Center.
Beth, so glad to have you back on Chamber Chat.
Thanks for having me.
We'd like to give you another opportunity now to take a look at the upcoming events for the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome back to Chamber Chat right here on PAC 14. Joining us now is the chairman of the Wicomico County Fair, Zach Evans. Welcome back to the program, man.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be back.
So last year, or the year before, I should say, Wicomico County, it is my understanding, was the only county in the state of Maryland that didn't participate in a fair or operate a fair jointly with another county. And you guys decided to change that. And last year, we had the inaugural Wicomico County Fair. Give us a 30-second recap. How'd that come off, man?
It went great. We were overwhelmed and ecstatic from just by the level of support that we had from the community. We had a great weather, which is always important for an event like this. But we weren't really sure what the target was going to be. We knew that we wanted to engage as many folks from the community and the surrounding areas as we could, and we estimate we had about 10,000 people out there over that 3-day event. So we were happy, we were tickled to death, and excited to get geared up for this year.
That's not bad for a first-time event, figuring it out.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
And we're learning as we go. So there's a lot of new exciting stuff to look forward to this year as well.
So where and when will we see the Wicomico County Fair this year?
This year, the dates, it's always the third weekend in August.
Okay.
So this year, the dates will fall on August 19th, 20th, and 21st. It'll be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event again. And it'll be hosted at Winter Place Park, right there off of Route 50, near the intersection with Hobbs Road.
So in terms of having a fair, other than we were the last ones to the dance, why is it important to have a fair?
I think the big part of it is that community engagement. You know, we were really looking in this area for a family-friendly, free venue where folks from, 2 to 75 could come out, enjoy themselves that weekend. Of course, weather permitting, and we're trying to make things as accessible to all folks as we can in terms of handicap accommodations and things like that this year. But I think the big part is we wanted to not only promote agriculture, because that is a big part of the county fair, but we wanted to promote all local businesses. We wanted to engage all community nonprofits and kind of self-sufficient organizations that are out there operating on their own that maybe don't have a big event like this. So we're trying to bring everybody under the umbrella, and we're really excited because we're having even more participation this year.
I know, I want to talk a little bit about the events that you had last year, what we can see this year, but I can remember seeing a couple of pictures of our very own Sophia Smecker between 2 very large tractors, which made her look very, very small because there were big pieces of equipment.
Yes,
So
sir.
will we see things like that again this year? Maybe some events that we had last year that you're coming forward, bringing forward to this year, and new events that we can expect?
Yes, sir. So everything we offered last year, we're still going to have in place this year. You know, the livestock barn and that agricultural component, allowing kids from the community to get out, interact with the animals, touch, feel, smell, see, hear. That's really the most important part. But we're going to have the tractor pool. We're going to have classic car shows, Jeep and motorcycle rally, a farmer's market. We've got a lot of new exciting events this year. One of my favorites is going to be the mounted horseback shooting demonstration.
Okay.
The Mason-Dixon Deputies are a local shooting club here based out of the Eastern Shore, and we're expecting about 25 competitive riders. It'll be a 2-day event. It'll be hosted there in the Sand Ring. Last year we had a small demonstration from them, and it was one of the more exciting things that I think we had to offer.
I think everybody growing up, you know, wanted to be a cowboy and thinks that they could have ridden on a horse and
Yes, sir.
and shot things, whether it's be deer or food or Indians or whatever. But that's a pretty intense sport.
I think if you ask these folks, you know, they're not trying to hit a moving target. They're hitting a small balloon that's suspended above a cone. And if you ask them about the difficulty, they'd be happy to share it with you or put you up there on that horseback.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I'll just pass.
Yeah.
So some of the new things I'm already talking the fair up. So I was talking to one of my staff members and she asked were there going to be pig races.
No pig races,
No
but
pig races.
but I tell you something that we've been keeping. You know, we've been playing our cards kind of close to our chest. We are going to have a fireworks show this year.
That's cool.
And we're very excited about that. That'll be Friday evening, 8:30. You know, so we're going to try to time it perfect with sunset, with dusk, and not make it too late so that folks can keep the little ones around and stay and hang out with us. And we're very excited as well to welcome in the Wicomico County 4-H from the University of Maryland Extension. In years past, they've had other events where their kids have been able to enter and show livestock and do other competitive entries. And this year, we're actually bringing them in under the fold, and we're super excited to have them participating that weekend at the fair.
Very cool. Fireworks are never a letdown.
No, I think that's going to be a great addition.
That'll be very cool. Oh, well, anytime you have an event like this, you know, you have to have a community behind you that'll support you, and or else you can't pull it off, whether it be fireworks and certainly a fair. It really is about community and about the heritage of, you know, not only where we've come from, but where we still are today on the shore. So I think you might have a few sponsors that need their name sung out a little bit. Just some praise to us, because without support from folks like this, you can't pull a fair off.
No, and you know, I mean, first and foremost, I thank the Wicomico Farm and Home Show and the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce for, you know, creating this sort of brainchild, coming together and combining resources. But as you said, we couldn't do it without the support from the community. And this year we actually have over 40 sponsors.
Wow.
So I didn't bring the whole list with you, but there's a few that I'd like to thank because it wouldn't have been possible without them, that's for sure. And first and foremost, we'd like to thank Purdue, you know, headquartered here in Wicomico County. We'd like to thank Gateway Subaru, Pepsi, Hebron Savings Bank, Mount Air Farms, the Salisbury Independent, iHeartMedia, Adams Radio Group. The Robinson's family of businesses has been a big help with us preparing for our Wicomico County Queen Pageant. Richardson's Auction Sales, the Wicomico County Soil Conservation, Sinar Aerial, Wilgus Insurance, Farm Credit, Salisbury Physical Therapy, Eastern Shore Forest Products, United Rental, Tillman Oil, and there are dozens more. I apologize if I didn't get a chance to mention them today, but we are very thankful, and you'll be sure to see their signage and them being promoted at the fair.
Well, that's an impressive list. And if you didn't hear your name on the list, send all your cards and letters to Zach Evans. He's fully responsible.
Yes, sir.
So I'm sure they understand. Listen, how can we find out more information? Where can we go find out information? Maybe a list of events. What kind of information can you share with us?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I'd say the easiest way to find our full schedule of events and also our full list of sponsors is wicomicofair.com. That's our website. You can also keep an eye out for our billboards, which will be located on Route 50 on 13. You'll see television ads running soon on local networks as well as cable, as well as cable and premium networks. We'll also have a great social media presence, so be sure to follow us, Wicomico County Fair, on Facebook. And we've also created an event. We'd love for you to share it and invite your friends, invite your family, bring everyone out. As you know, the events at the fair are better seen and not heard.
Absolutely.
So,
well, I was there last year and won't miss it this year.
yes, sir. Well, we look forward to having you, and we look forward to having anyone who can make it. Again, it'll be August 19th, 20th, and 21st at Winter Place Park in Salisbury, Maryland.
Zach, thanks for coming and sharing, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
We'd also like to thank you for joining us on this edition of Chamber Chat. And as always, if you missed a portion of this program or you'd like to view previous editions, we'd encourage you to visit PAC 14's website and utilize their on-demand feature or visit the Chamber's website. That's about all the time we have for this edition of Chamber Chat. My name's Tony Nichols, your host, encouraging you to make a difference.